Hey, what's up, guys? It's Iggy, the Investing Iguana, and you're watching the best channel on YouTube for making your money work for you. Today, I have a very special video for you because I'm going to reveal one of the biggest secrets to building wealth in Singapore, buying a home. That's right, buying a home is not only a dream come true for many Singaporeans, but also a smart way to invest your money and grow your net worth. But how do you buy a home without breaking the bank? How do you afford a flat that meets your needs and preferences? And how do you take advantage of the generous subsidies that the government offers to help you own your own home? Well, don't worry, because I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to explain everything you need to know about HDB grants, the amazing benefits that they offer, and how to choose the right one for you. Whether you're looking for a resale or BTO flat, whether you're single or married, whether you're living near or with your family, there's a grant for you. And I'm going to show you how to get it. So stay tuned, because this video could change your life. But before we get into that, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's get started. What are HDB grants? HDB grants are subsidies that the government provides to eligible Singaporeans who want to buy an HDB flat. They are meant to help lower-income households afford their own homes and encourage family formation and bonding. Depending on your household income, family nucleus, citizenship status, and flat type, you may be eligible for one or more HDB grants. These grants can range from $5,000 to $80,000, and they are credited into your CPF Ordinary Account, OA, which you can use to pay for your flat purchase. Let's examine the types of HDB grants. There are many types of HDB grants available, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to group them into two categories: resale grants and BTO grants. Resale grants are for those who want to buy a resale flat from the open market. Resale flats are usually more expensive than BTO flats, but they offer more flexibility in terms of location, size, and availability. There are four main types of resale grants. Enhanced CPF Housing Grant, EHG. This is the most common grant for resale buyers. It is based on your average monthly household income for the last 12 months before your flat application. The lower your income, the higher the grant amount. The maximum grant amount is $80,000 for families and $40,000 for singles. To qualify for this grant, you must be a first-timer applicant, meaning you have not received any housing subsidy before, have a household income of $9,000 or less, $4,500 or less for singles, and buy a flat with a remaining lease of at least 20 years, or 30 years if you are buying with extended family. Proximity Housing Grant, PHG. This is an additional grant for resale buyers who want to live near or with their parents or children. You can get $30,000 if you buy a resale flat within 4 kilometers of your parents' or children's home, or $15,000 if you buy a resale flat in the same town or estate as them. You can also get $30,000 if you buy a resale flat with your parents or children in the same unit. To qualify for this grant, you must be a Singapore citizen, SC, with at least one SC spouse/parent/child/sibling/fiancé/fiancée in the same application or same flat. You can apply for this grant regardless of whether you are a first-timer or second-timer applicant, meaning you have received one housing subsidy before, but second-timers will have to pay a resale levy when they buy another subsidized flat in future. Family Grant, FG. This is a special grant for first-timer SCs who are married or engaged to non-citizens, meaning foreigners or permanent residents. You can get $50,000 if you buy a 2-room flexi or bigger resale flat with your spouse/fiancé/fiancée who is not an SC or SPR, Singapore permanent resident, or $25,000 if you buy a 2-room flexi or bigger resale flat with your non-SC/SPR child. To qualify for this grant, you must have a household income of $14,000 or less, $21,000 or less if buying with extended family, and buy a flat with a remaining lease of at least 20 years, or 30 years if buying with extended family. Singles Grant. This is a grant for first-timer SCs who are single and want to buy a resale flat on their own or with other single SCs. You can get $25,000 if you buy a 2-room flexi or bigger resale flat on your own, or $50,000 if you buy a 4-room or smaller resale flat with up to 3 other single SCs. To qualify for this grant, you must be at least 35 years old, have a household income of $7,000 or less, $14,000 or less if buying with other singles, and buy a flat with a remaining lease of at least 20 years, or 30 years if buying with other singles. BTO grants are for those who want to buy a new flat from HDB. BTO flats are usually cheaper than resale flats, but they have longer waiting times and limited choices. There are two main types of BTO grants: Enhanced CPF Housing Grant, EHG. This is the same grant as the one for resale buyers, except that the maximum grant amount is $80,000 for families and $40,000 for singles regardless of flat type. The eligibility criteria are also the same, except that you must buy a flat with a remaining lease of at least 95 years, or 105 years if you are buying with extended family. Step Up CPF Housing Grant. This is a special grant for second-timer SCs who are living in a 2-room subsidized flat in a non-mature estate and want to upgrade to a 3-room new flat in a non-mature estate. You can get $15,000 if you meet this criteria. To qualify for this grant, you must also have a household income of $7,000 or less, $14,000 or less if buying with extended family, and not own any private property. How to choose the right HDB grant for you. Now that you know the different types of HDB grants available, how do you choose the right one for you? Well, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question, as it depends on your personal preferences and circumstances. However, here are some general tips to help you make an informed decision. First, decide whether you want to buy a resale or BTO flat. Consider factors such as location, size, availability, price, and waiting time. Next, check your eligibility for the various grants based on your household income, family nucleus, citizenship status, and flat type. You can use the HDB Flat portal to get an estimate of your eligibility and grant amount. Then, compare the different grant amounts and see which one gives you the most savings. Remember that the grants are credited into your CPF OA, which means that you will have less money for retirement and other purposes. Also, note that some grants come with conditions such as resale levy or minimum occupation period, MOP, which may affect your future housing options. Finally, choose the grant that best suits your needs and budget. Don't forget to factor in other costs such as stamp duty, legal fees, renovation costs, and monthly mortgage payments. Let me share another 5 useful tips when it comes to getting HDB grants. Apply for an HDB Flat Eligibility (HFE) letter via the HDB Flat portal before you start your home buying journey. This will give you a holistic understanding of your eligibility to purchase a new or resale flat, as well as the amount of CPF housing grants and HDB housing loan you are eligible for. This will help you plan your budget and avoid any disappointment or delays later on. Choose a flat type and location that matches your needs and preferences, but also maximizes your grant amount. For example, if you are buying a BTO flat, you can get a higher EHG amount if you choose a smaller flat type or a non-mature estate. If you are buying a resale flat, you can get a higher PHG amount if you choose a flat that is closer to your parents' or children's home. Tip 3. Consider buying a resale flat with a longer remaining lease, especially if you are eligible for the EHG. This is because the EHG requires that the remaining lease of the flat can cover the youngest buyer until at least 95 years old. If not, the EHG amount will be prorated based on the extent of the shortfall. Buying a resale flat with a longer remaining lease will also ensure that you have more options to sell or rent out your flat in future. Tip 4. Keep track of your household income and ensure that it does not exceed the income ceiling for the grant that you are applying for. The income ceiling is based on your average monthly household income for the 12 months before your flat application. If your income fluctuates or increases over time, you may want to apply for your flat earlier to secure your grant eligibility. Alternatively, you can also consider buying a flat with extended family members to increase your income ceiling. And the last tip, check if you have any outstanding housing loans or private property ownership that may affect your grant eligibility. For example, if you have taken an HDB housing loan before, you may not be eligible for another one unless you have fully paid off the first loan. If you own or have disposed of any private property within 30 months before your flat application, you may not be eligible for any CPF housing grants or HDB housing loan. You should also note that some grants come with conditions such as resale levy or minimum occupation period, MOP, which may affect your future housing options. I hope this video has been helpful and informative for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll try my best to answer them. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Iggy, the Investing Iguana, signing off. Peace out.